You know that moment when someone shows you exactly who they are, when they stop pretending and let the truth slide out of their mouth before they can catch it. My name is Lionel. I am 34 years old, and that moment happened to me on a Thursday night in March, standing in a kitchen I paid for, in a house that suddenly felt like it belonged to a stranger. I am a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician. I have been doing the work for 12 years. I make around $23 an hour. I'm not rich, but the bills get paid, the refrigerator stays full, and both of our cars are paid off. I have always been proud of that. I like knowing that if something breaks in my house or my family needs help, I know how to handle it. My wife's name is Karina. We have been married 12 years. On paper, our life looks steady. We rented a 2-bedroom house on Maple Ridge in a quiet neighborhood outside Nashville. We did not travel much, but she went on one special trip every year, a 4-day girls' trip into the city with her closest friends. Same hotel, same rooftop bar, same shopping streets, same late-night talks about work, relationships, and whatever else they thought was important. That Thursday, Karina was in our bedroom packing for the trip. I was at the kitchen table with my laptop open and a stack of envelopes spread out like a small paper battlefield. Rent, electric, water, internet, and the credit card bill. I always handle the bills. It made me feel calm, knowing exactly where our money went. That night, the credit card balance was higher than usual. I scanned the charges until one line made me blink. "Hey, Karina," I called. "What is this charge at Nordstrom for $350? I did not say it with attitude. I just needed to know. She looked up from a pile of folded dresses on the bed, already frowning. "Those heels I bought for Janelle's wedding," Karina said. "The black ones with the gold buckle. Remember, $350 for shoes," I said. "That is more than our electric bill." She rolled her eyes and tossed another blouse into the suitcase. "Here we go again," she said. "You act like we are broke." "We are not broke," I answered. "But we are not rich either. I just think we should talk about big purchases before you make them. That is all." She stopped folding, turned toward me fully, and set her hands on her hips. I could see the shift in her face, the way irritation hardened into something sharper. "You know what?" Karina said. "My friends think you are a joke." The words landed like a glass shattering on tile. They think I'm married beneath me. And honestly, they are right. I just stared at her, trying to make sure I had heard her correctly. The refrigerator hummed. A car drove past outside. The rest of the world kept moving while my life froze in place. "Your friends think I am a joke," I repeated slowly. "Yes," she said, not backing down. "Philip makes twice what you make. Rochelle's husband Malcolm just got promoted to regional manager. Angela's husband runs an entire sales territory, flying back and forth to places like Atlanta. And I am married to a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning guy who complains every time I buy something nice." She said heating, ventilation, and air conditioning guy like it tasted bitter, like the work I'd spent over a decade learning was embarrassing, like the job that kept the house comfortable and paid for the car she was driving to the airport made me less worthy than the men she admired. Something inside my chest shifted, not a burst of anger, but a quiet, heavy click, the sound of a door shutting. I closed the credit card bill and slid into the folder where I keep all our paperwork. Then I looked up at her. Karina stood in the doorway with her arms crossed, chin raised, as if she had just told me some brave truth. "So that is how you see me?" I asked. "That is what you think of your husband?" She shrugged. "I'm just being honest," Karina said. "You could do more with your life if you wanted to. But you are comfortable being this." She gestured at me, like I was an old piece of furniture she no longer wanted in the room. I stood, gathered the remaining bills, and put them away. My hands were steady. My voice stayed calm. Inside, though, the picture I had of my marriage cracked down the middle. "Well," I said finally, "I appreciate the honesty." She let out a short laugh. "Good," she said. "Maybe now you understand why I need this trip. I need time with people who actually have ambition." She went back to packing like nothing important had happened. I walked to our bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, watching her flip through hangers and hum to herself. She held up a sparkly dress. "Do you think this will look good at the rooftop bar?" Karina asked. It was not cheap, but it photographs really well. I looked at the dress, at the suitcases stuffed with clothes bought with money I earned. "You will look fine," I said. That was the moment it became clear that this was not about a single pair of shoes or one credit card bill. This was about respect. Respect is invisible most of the time, but when it disappears, you can feel the absence like a cold draft under a door. Once it is gone, there is no quick way to bring it back. Karina was not just disagreeing with my opinion about her budget. She was ashamed of me, ashamed of my job, ashamed to stand next to me in front of her friends. She thought her friends were right to look down on me. But what she did not know was that the joke she thought she was making about my life was about to become a story about hers. I pulled my phone from my pocket and opened my messages. I scrolled to my older brother's name, Dion. I typed, "Can I stay with you for a while starting this weekend? I will explain when I see you." It took him less than a minute to respond. "Of course. You know you're welcome. You all right?" I stared at the words for a moment. "I will be," I wrote back. While Karina compared outfits in the mirror, I sat back down at the kitchen table with a yellow legal pad. I wrote a list in clear, block letters. Talk to my supervisor, talk to the landlord, check the bank accounts, decide what is mine, plan the move. The list grew through the night. Every new line made the knot in my stomach loosen a little. By the time I put the pen down, I knew I was not bluffing. I was leaving. Early Friday morning, before my shift, I met with my supervisor, a calm, serious man named Mr. Freeman. His office smelled faintly like coffee and dust. I sat in the chair across from his desk and told him I needed a fresh start. I did not give him every detail, but I said enough. My marriage was coming apart. I needed to move closer to my brother, and distance would help me put my life back together. He listened quietly, fingers steepled. "You are one of the most reliable technicians we have," he said. "We have an opening at our Jefferson County branch. Same pay, same benefits, different side of town. It is near where you said your brother lives. If you're interested, I can get you in there on Monday." I blinked. "That fast?" "You have earned it," he said. "If this helps you, let us do it." I felt a rush of gratitude so strong it made my throat tight. "I am very interested," I said. "Then consider it done," he replied. Next, I called Dion on my break. He works construction and does not waste words, but he is always there. I told him exactly what Karina had said, word for word. "She said her friends think you are a joke," he repeated slowly, "and that she married beneath her." "That is what she said," I answered. There was a sharp exhale on the other end. "All right," Dion said. "I will be there Saturday morning. I will bring my truck, Reggie from my crew, and Malcolm. We will get your things and you out of there." The last important call was to our landlord, a retired teacher named Miss Hightower. "Good morning. This is Lionel from Maple Ridge," I said when she answered. "I want to let you know I will be moving out this weekend. My wife will stay until the lease ends, if she chooses." There was a long pause. "I'm sorry to hear that," she said. "You two always seemed steady." "Are you sure?" I looked around the nearly empty break room, remembering the sound of Karina's voice calling me beneath her. "I'm sure," I told her. "The rent is paid through the end of this month," I continued. "After that, she will handle it on her own. I will need to see proof that she can afford it," Miss Hightower said. "Or she can find a roommate. Or we can work out a lease break. But I will note your move on the file." "Thank you," I said. "I will have my things out by Saturday evening." I hung up and stared at my phone. Every piece was moving into place. That afternoon, with Karina still at home, I started quietly sorting through our belongings. The blue toolbox at the back of the closet was mine. The heavy set of kitchen knives, bought with my holiday bonus because I like to cook, was mine. The coffee maker that I had researched and saved for was mine. The couch, the decorative rug, the glass vases, the fancy wine glasses from different girls' trips, all of that was hers. The joint bank account was the only part that made me pause. I would not empty it. That felt wrong and would invite problems later. But I was not going to leave every dollar there either. I opened the account on my laptop and stared at the balance. $10,600. I did the math twice. Half of that was $5,300. I had already opened an individual account the night before. I transferred exactly my half and closed the browser. "What time does your flight leave again?" I called to Karina as she dragged another suitcase out from under the bed. 10:45 in the morning, she said. "I need to leave here by 8:30, otherwise security will be a nightmare." I walked to the bedroom door. "I will drive you," I said. She looked around in surprise. "You sure?" she asked, softening. "You do not have to." "I called in sick," I said. "Figured I would take the day to miss you properly." She smiled, pleased. "You are sweet when you want to be," she said. Friday morning arrived much faster than I expected. Karina woke up early, moving around the house like a storm. She checked her bags 3 times, lined up her shoes, and took mirror photos in 2 different outfits before choosing one. I made coffee and breakfast like any other day. She breezed into the kitchen, kissed my cheek, and said, "It is going to be so nice to be around people who understand hard work and success." In the truck on the way to the airport, she talked nonstop. "We're going to this brunch place with live music," she said. "Angela said the mimosas are perfect. And there is this little boutique that sells the most incredible dresses. I've been looking forward to this all month. I need a break from all this stress about money." I kept my eyes on the road. "You deserve time with your friends," I said. That part was true, even if the rest of it burned. At the drop-off lane, I helped her unload 2 large suitcases, 1 carry-on, and a huge tote bag. "For days away, enough clothes for a month. I will call when I land," Karina said, leaning in to kiss me again. "Try not to miss me too much." "Have fun," I said. "I hope you all have plenty to talk about." She laughed, not catching the tone, and rolled her luggage into the terminal. I watched her go, then drove away from the curb and toward my own kind of freedom. On the way home, I called Dion. "She is on the plane," I said. "We are good for tomorrow. We will be there at 7 in the morning," he said. "Have your stuff ready, and we will get it done." After I hung up, I stopped at a store and bought more boxes and tape. Back at the house, I moved quietly, filling boxes with my clothes, my tools, my books, every object that told the story of who I was before Karina decided I was not enough. The house felt strange as the day went on. Every time I took something that belonged to me, it left a hollow spot behind. The empty space on the bookshelf where my favorite novels had been. The bare patch of counter where the coffee maker sat each morning. The closet with half its hangers suddenly missing. I moved slowly and deliberately, wanting the difference to be obvious when she walked in on Monday evening. That night, Karina called from Nashville. I answered on the second ring. Loud music and laughter spilled through the line. "Lionel, you would not believe this hotel," she said. "The lobby looks like a palace. Our room has a view of the river. We went to this amazing restaurant, and tomorrow we are hitting all the shops. I really needed this." "Sounds perfect," I said. "Enjoy it." "I will," she said. "Love you. Take care," I replied. She did not notice the missing words. Saturday morning, right on time, Dion's pickup pulled into the driveway, followed by Reggie's work truck and Malcolm's sedan. I opened the door before they could knock. "Everything you want is labeled?" Dion asked, stepping inside. "Mostly," I said. "If it has blue tape on it, it goes. If it is not, leave it." Reggie looked around. "Man," he said, "this is a nice place. You sure you cannot work this out?" She told me her friends think I am a joke and she agrees. I said, "What is there to work out?" The 3 of them did not argue. We got to work. My clothes went into boxes. My tools, packed in heavy metal cases, filled most of Reggie's truck bed. The 55-inch television that I had bought myself with overtime pay came off the stand and into a blanket-wrapped cocoon. "She's going to be mad about this," Malcolm said, easing it into Dion's back seat. "She barely watches it," I said. "She cares more about how it looks in the living room. It will look better somewhere it is appreciated." The kitchen took longer. I grabbed the coffee maker, the knives, the cast iron pan my father had given me, the spices I actually used. I left the decorative canisters she bought on a whim, the novelty wine glasses, the gadgets still in boxes. Piece by piece, my life shrank down into a neat collection of boxes and bags, stacked near the front door. The house did not look wrecked when we finished. It just looked incomplete, like half a life had been carefully lifted out. "You leaving a note?" Dion asked as we stood in the kitchen. I pulled a folded sheet of white paper from my pocket. I had written it the night before, in my usual handwriting, nothing fancy. "Karina," it said, "I believe you when you say your friends think I am a joke, and that you marry beneath you. I will not stay where I am not respected. I took only what belongs to me and half of our savings. The rent is paid through this month. Handle the rest however you choose. Lionel." I placed a note on the kitchen table, where she always threw her keys when she walked in. The last thing I did was unplug the coffee maker. I cleaned it, wrapped the glass carafe in a towel, and set it gently in a box. "She's going to feel that one," Reggie said, watching. "She can learn how to use the old drip pot she had before we met," I said. "Or she can drink hotel lobby coffee with her friends." Dion locked the front door and pocketed the spare key to give back to Miss Hightower. We caravanned to Dion's place, a modest single-story house on the other side of town. Kids rode bikes on the sidewalk, neighbors waved from porches, and the smell of someone's grill drifted through the air. It felt like a neighborhood where people actually talked to one another. We unloaded everything into the garage, and the spare bedroom Dion had cleared for me. "You are sure this is all right?" I asked. "You are my brother," he said. "This is what we do." After the last box was inside, Dion suggested barbecue. We sat on a picnic table outside a small restaurant with metal trays full of ribs and chicken. My muscles ached, but my chest felt light. "So what now?" Malcolm asked. "New branch on Monday," I said. "Save money. Find a place of my own. Live without feeling like I have to apologize for who I am." Dion nodded. "That sounds like a plan," he said. My phone buzzed on the table. A message from Karina glowed on the screen. "We just did a distillery tour. Having an amazing time. The girls say hi." Dion glanced at it. "You going to answer?" he asked. "No," I said, turning the phone face down. "She is busy living her best life. Let her enjoy it." I'm in it. I did not want to interrupt her trip with the truth. I wanted the truth to be waiting for her when she came home. Sunday passed quietly. I organized my things, set up my computer, and lined my tools neatly along the wall in Dion's garage. We watched a ball game in the afternoon and grilled in the evening. Karina called once more from Nashville, full of stories about rooftop bars and restaurant reservations. "These girls really know how to live," she said. "They inspire me to want more." "Sounds like your kind of group," I said. "They are," she answered. "I will be home around 6 in the evening tomorrow. Maybe we can go out to dinner. I want to talk about some ideas." "We will definitely have things to talk about," I said. "Love you," she said quickly. Then the line went dead. I stared at the phone for a long time afterward. I had never felt so calm about something so final. I knew exactly what 6 in the evening Monday would look like for her, even if she did not. I imagined her walking in, dropping her keys on the table, reaching for a light switch in a house that did not look quite like the one she had left. Monday at the Jefferson County branch, I focused on the new route, the new dispatch system, and the faces of my new coworkers. One of them, a technician named Omar, walked me around the warehouse. "People here work hard," he said, "but they respect each other. That matters." I believed him. On my lunch break, I checked my phone. No messages from Karina yet. The day moved forward like any other work day, and yet I knew, somewhere across town, a different kind of drama was unfolding. At 6:15 that evening, I was standing in Dion's living room helping him replace an old thermostat when the landline from Maple Ridge flashed on my cell. I let it ring. Dion glanced over. "You not going to answer?" he asked. "No," I said. Right now she is standing in our kitchen, staring at an empty television stand and an empty space where the coffee maker used to be, holding a note she did not expect. The ringing stopped. 30 seconds later, my phone lit up with her name. I let that call go to voicemail too. By 7 in the evening, there were 14 missed calls and 6 voicemails from Karina. The text messages came in quick bursts. "Where are you? What happened to our stuff? This is not funny. Call me back now." I let them pile up while Dion and I finished wiring the new thermostat. Finally, curiosity got the better of me, and I pressed play on the first voicemail. "Hey, I am home, and something weird is going on," she said in the first message, sounding unsettled. "Call me back." In the second, her voice rose. "Seriously, Lionel, where is the television? And why is there a note on the table? What is happening?" In the third, her tone shook. "I read your note. I did not understand. Where are you? Come home so we can talk." By the fourth, she was crying. "Please," she sobbed. "I'm sorry for what I said Thursday night. I was tired and stressed. We can fix this." In the fifth message, anger pushed through the tears. "You cannot just disappear like this," she snapped. "We are married. You cannot take half our things and leave a stupid piece of paper." The sixth message, later that evening, sounded panicked. "I called Dion, and he will not tell me where you are. Nobody will tell me anything. Please, I am scared. Just come home." I put the phone down. Dion watched my face. "She get it yet?" he asked. "She is starting to," I said. Karina kept calling. Around 10 in the evening, she dialed Dion's house phone. "You want me to ignore it?" he asked. "Answer if you want," I said. "But you do not know where I am." He picked up. I could hear Karina's voice through the receiver, high and frantic. "No, I have not seen him," Dion said calmly. "Maybe he picked up an extra shift." She talked faster. I do not know what to tell you, he said. If you want to be home, you would be home. He hung up and shook his head. She is threatening to call the police, he said. Let her, I replied. I took my own belongings out of a house I was paying for. That is not a crime. Over the next few days, the pattern shifted. Late Monday night, she left 3 more voicemails. One was full of apologies. One was full of rationalizations. One was full of whispers about how empty the house felt without me. On Wednesday, she started reaching out to mutual friends, asking if they had seen me, telling them her husband had walked out after one argument about money. One of those friends, a guy I used to work with named Bennett, called me. Man, your wife is worried, Bennett said. She told me you just left. Said you got mad because she bought some shoes. It was not about shoes, I said. I just need some space. Maybe you should call her, he suggested. She sounded desperate. I will think about it, I said, already knowing my answer. I was not interested in playing the villain in the version of the story she was telling. Thursday night, exactly 1 week after she had told me I was beneath her, she sent a long text message. I know you are reading this. It began. I've thought a lot about what I said. I was hurtful and wrong. I was stressed about money and I took it out on you. Your job is important and I respect what you do. Please come home so we could talk face to face. I love you and I want to fix this. I read it twice, then showed it to Dion. You think she means it? He asked. I think she means she is scared, I said. Scared of being alone. Scared of paying rent on her own. Scared of explaining to her friends why her husband left. But do I think she magically stopped looking down on me because I left? No. People do not change their core beliefs in 1 week. I set the phone down and did not respond. The next morning, I finally answered when she called. Lionel, Karina said immediately, thank God. Where have you been? I've been going crazy. Working, I said. I started a new position at the Jefferson County branch. What do you mean a new position? She demanded. You cannot just change jobs without talking to me. Even in panic, the reflex to control was still there. Actually, I can, I said. I already did. It is closer to where I live now. Where you live, she repeated. This is your home. Our home. No, I said. That is a rental you live in. I do not live there anymore. Stop it, she said sharply. Stop being ridiculous and come home so we can talk like adults. Adults take responsibility for their words, I said. Adults do not tell their spouse they are a joke and then act surprised when that spouse believes them. It was one stupid comment, she said. I was frustrated. People say things they do not mean when they are frustrated. It was not one comment, I replied. It was the truth slipping out. You told me your friends think I am beneath you and that they are right. I believe you. I'm not going back to a place where the person I love thinks she could have done better. There was a long silence. I did not mean it, she whispered finally. You did, I said quietly. And that is your right. You are allowed to feel that way. I'm allowed to walk away from it. Then I ended the call. Over the next week, Karina turned to social media. She posted vague messages about hard seasons and marriage being hard work. Her friends flooded the comments with hearts and sympathetic notes. Then the question started. Are you all right financially? Angela asked. Do you need any help with rent? Maya asked. Is he still covering bills? Tawny wrote. Are you two separated? The tone of the comments shifted from emotional support to practical concern. Slowly, some of her friends began to pull away. Angela stopped liking her posts. Rochelle stopped answering her messages. One of them posted about needing to protect my peace and quietly removed Karina from a group chat. It turns out that people who look down on someone for not making enough money are often very careful with their own. They did not volunteer to help her move or offer to cover the difference in her rent. At the same time, pressure increased from another direction. Karina went to see Miss Hightower about breaking the lease. She called me the same afternoon, furious and scared. Did you tell the landlord I am moving out? She demanded. I told her I'm moving out, I said. What you do is up to you. She said she is posting an eviction notice in 30 days. Karina said. She said since you left. She does not believe I can afford the full rent. Can you? I asked calmly. There was a pause. That is not the point, she said. Actually, it is exactly the point, I answered. The rent is $1,400 a month. After taxes, you bring home around $2,000. You either find a roommate, move somewhere cheaper, or go stay with family. I'm not keeping you homeless. I left the rent covered through this month. You have time. You are destroying our marriage over one mistake, she said. No, I replied. Our marriage ended when you decided the man who paid those bills was a joke. This is just the part where we sign papers. 2 weeks after I moved out, she tried a different approach and called Dion again. I know he is staying with you, she said. I need to see him. I need to talk to him in person. He does not want to talk to you, Dion said. You are both being stubborn, she insisted. He is throwing away everything because his pride is hurt. No, Dion said. He is doing what a man with self-respect has to do. You showed him who you are. Now you are mad that he believes you. She hung up on him. That Saturday morning, my phone lit up with a number I did not recognize, but with a local area code. Hello, I said. Lionel, it is me, Karina said quickly. I'm calling from my sister Erica's phone. You will not answer mine. Please, can I see you? Just 10 minutes. I need to apologize properly. I cannot do this over the phone. I thought about saying no. I did not owe her a conversation. But part of me wanted to close the door with words instead of silence. 10 minutes, I said. Dion's house. 1 hour from now. Thank you, she said, genuine relief in her voice. I will be there. When I hung up, Dion glanced over from the kitchen where he was measuring a cabinet door. That was her, he asked. Yes, I said. She is coming here. You want me to clear out? He asked. No, I said. Stay. This needs a witness. Exactly 1 hour later, Erica's compact car pulled up in front of the house. I watched through the window as Karina sat for a moment, fixing her hair and wiping under her eyes before stepping out. Dion opened the door before she could knock twice. Come in, he said. She walked in cautiously, her eyes flicking around the living room until they landed on me at the kitchen table. You look good, she said, voice shaky as she crossed the room. Thank you, I said. Sit. She set her purse on the table and sat down across from me. Up close, she looked tired. The polished shine she usually wore had dimmed. I came to apologize, Karina said. Really apologize. Not just say some words to get you to come home. I know I hurt you. Go ahead, I said. She took a breath. What I said that night was cruel, she began. You're not a joke. Your job is not something to be ashamed of. You work hard. You have always provided. I know that. I have always known that. I was angry and scared about money and about my own life, and I took it out on you. I said something I did not mean. Tears filled her eyes. Here's where we disagree, I said quietly. I think you did mean it. I think those words were sitting there for a long time, and that night they finally came out. You told me your friends think you married beneath you, and that they are right. You did not stutter. You did not take it back until you realized I was gone. People say things they do not mean when they are angry, she insisted. Anger does not invent new beliefs, I said. It strips away the filter. It lets the truth out without the polite wrapping. She pressed her fingers to her forehead and shook her head. I have lost everything, Karina said. My friends do not know what to say to me. Some of them barely speak to me now. I have to move out of that house. I am back in my childhood room at my parents' place. My mother told me I did this to myself. I know I did. I hate that I hurt you. I want to fix it. We can go to counseling. We can learn to communicate better. We can start over. No, I said. She looked up quickly. What do you mean? She asked. I mean there is no starting over, I said. There is no going back to the way things were. I'm not coming home. I am not interested in rebuilding a marriage on the foundation of the thought that I am beneath you. She stared at me as if I had slapped her. But you love me, she said, almost a question. I loved who I thought you were. I answered. I loved the version of you who I believed was proud to be married to me. That person is not the one who stood in our kitchen and told me I am a joke. She swallowed hard. People make terrible mistakes, she said. You do not throw away 12 years because of one mistake. It is not 12 years against one night, I said. It is 12 years that suddenly look different because of one honest sentence. I cannot unhear the truth once it has been said. Dion moved quietly at the sink, rinsing a cup he had already washed. I knew he was listening, even if he pretended not to. So that is it? Karina asked. You are ending our marriage because I hurt your pride? My pride is fine, I said. My self-respect is what finally woke up. A man with self-respect does not stay married to someone who is embarrassed by him. You might learn not to say it out loud again, but that feeling would still be there. I will not live under it. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a folded stack of papers. I slid them across the table. She stared at them, then picked them up. Her eyes moved over the heading and down the page. Divorce, she whispered. You already filed? My lawyer prepared the paperwork. I said, all that is missing is your signature. Our marriage ended the night you decided I was beneath you. These documents just make it official. You cannot be serious, she said, clutching the pages. I am completely serious, I replied. You can sign them now or take them to your own lawyer and go through the process. Either way, I am done being your husband. I am not interested in spending the rest of my life trying to convince you I am worthy to stand next to you. She looked down at the papers, then back at me. What am I supposed to do? She asked quietly. Whatever you choose, I said. You have family. You have a job. You can find a place that fits your budget. You can rebuild however you want. But you will do it without me. I will not be the man you apologize for behind my back. Tears rolled down her cheeks. This is cruel, she said. No, I answered. It is clear. You show me who you are. I believe you. Now I am choosing myself. She stayed seated for a few more minutes, crying softly, the papers limp in her hands. Finally, she folded them, slipped them into her purse, and stood. I do not know how to live without you, she said. You will learn, I said. You are stronger than you think, and I will be all right. I already am. Dion walked her to the door. When it closed behind her, the house felt still and open, like a room after clutter has been cleared out. 6 weeks later, my lawyer called and told me the papers had been signed. The divorce moved forward quietly after that. I heard through him that Karina had left Maple Ridge, moved back in with her parents, and started working at a call center. Her sister Erica helped her pack what was left. I did not ask about her friends. Whether they stayed close or faded away was no longer my concern. In the meantime, my own life moved forward. I saved money and eventually bought a small brick house not far from Dion's neighborhood. It needed work, peeling paint, a leaky faucet, a dishwasher that rattled, but those were the kinds of problems I knew how to solve. I fixed the heating unit myself one Saturday morning, replaced the thermostat with my own hands, and stood in the living room listening to the quiet, steady hum. The house was not large, but it was mine. My television sat on the stand against the wall. My books lined a simple shelf. The coffee maker burbled in the kitchen every morning. The silence inside those walls felt peaceful rather than tense. No one there thought my job was a punchline. No one there measured my worth by my hourly wage. One afternoon, a few months later, I stopped by a hardware store to pick up supplies for a small repair. In the lumber aisle, I saw a woman arguing kindly with a clerk about the best kind of screws for a deck. She had a pencil tucked behind her ear and a notepad full of measurements in her hand. When the clerk walked away, she looked over at me. You look like you know your way around this stuff, she said with a small smile. I hope so, I said. I am a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician. I spend half my life in crawl spaces and attics. She laughed. I am Harper, she said. I am a contractor. I spend half my life arguing with suppliers. We talked about work first, then about everything else. She understood coming home tired, hands sore, clothes covered in dust, and still feeling proud because the job was done right. Our first date was at a small diner that served good coffee and simple food. We sat in a booth and talked until the staff started turning chairs upside down onto tables. I told her about my marriage in pieces, not as a dramatic story, but as a series of choices and realizations. I did not insult Karina. I simply told Harper what was said, how it made me feel, and what I decided about my own worth. Harper listened carefully, nodding. Respect is not negotiable, she said when I finished. Either it is there or it is not. Once someone shows you that they do not respect what you do and who you are, it is almost impossible to ever unsee it. I learned that the hard way, I replied. Maybe the only way some of us ever learn it, she said. We did not move fast, but we moved steadily. She did not flinch when I talked about my long days or my dreams of starting my own small heating and cooling business. She asked questions, offered thoughts, and understood that ambition can look like building something with your hands, not just collecting titles on a business card. Being around her felt easy in a way that surprised me. Sometimes, when a certain song came on the radio, or I drove past the exit that led to Maple Ridge, Karina floated into my mind. I wondered how she told the story to new people. Maybe she said her marriage ended because she said one thing she should not have said. Maybe she left out the part where her husband quietly packed his things and prove that he was not as weak as she believed. I did not spend much time on those thoughts. What mattered was what had grown in the space she left behind. I had a job where my work was valued, a brother who had my back, a house that belonged to me, and a woman in my life who admired the same calloused hands that some people had laughed at. I woke up early, made my own coffee, and stood in a kitchen that felt completely mine. In the evenings, I sometimes sat on the small back porch, watching the sky change color, listening to the hum of the neighborhood around me. I would think, briefly, about that night in the old kitchen, about the way Karina's face looked when she told me her friends thought she had settled for less. Then I would look around at the life that existed because I had finally believed her. There are people who treat the person they are with like an accessory, something to show off at dinners and trips and on social media, as long as that person fits a certain image. Karina wanted a husband whose job impressed her friends and whose gifts came with luxury labels. What she actually had was a husband who worked with his hands, paid the bills, and came home tired but honest. When she decided that was not enough, she expected me to try harder to become someone else. Instead, I quietly took my half of the life we had built and started over. I did not yell. I did not break anything. I did not try to make her hurt the way I had hurt. I simply refused to stay in a place where my presence was treated like a disappointment. The punchline she never saw coming was simple. The man she thought was beneath her had more self-respect than she ever imagined. I did not have to prove my worth to her or her friends. I just had to recognize it for myself and act accordingly. That realization changed everything. Now, when the air conditioner in my own house kicks on with a clean, even hum that I tuned myself, when Harper sends me a picture of a kitchen she just finished, when Dion calls to ask my opinion on a tool, I feel something I had not felt in a long time when I was married to Karina. Peace. In the end, people were right about one thing. There was a joke in that old story. They just misunderstood the subject. They thought the joke was my income, my job, my work boots. The real joke was that they underestimated the man wearing those boots. I took the same hands they mocked and used them to build a quieter, stronger, better life. And standing in that life now, with the smell of fresh coffee in my kitchen and the sound of a well-running system in the background, sometimes I do laugh. Not at myself, not at Karina, but at the memory of ever believing I was less than enough for anyone. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.